I am supposed to deliver this address of the Senate President at a later time, but since we are awaiting a resolution from the House of Representatives, may I be allowed? First, we would like to welcome to the Senate of the Philippines in our third regular session of the 17th Congress, our esteemed guests, former Vice President Noli de Castro, former senators and their spouses, current and former members of the executive and the judiciary, members of the diplomatic corps and various consulates, our Papal Nuncio, His Excellency, His Eminence, I should say, Archbishop Cassia, executives of the local government units, my dear colleagues, their spouses, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a practice of former Senate presidents to mention the achievements of the past regular session as a preliminary statement in the opening of the new regular session. However, today, I will break away from that tradition as I will just submit to you the Senate's accomplishment, with special thanks, of course, to the leadership of Senate President Aquilino Coco Pimentel III. Today, we commence the third regular session of the 17th Congress on the part of one of its two component houses, the Senate of the Republic of the Philippines. Like all beginnings, it is a fine time for looking back, a time to presently locate ourselves, and a moment to reflect on the path towards our dream for peace, prosperity, and happiness for all. Those who do not look back to their history as one threatened are condemned to repeat it. We had senators elected by districts before. Then we changed the system to nationally elected senators to prevent regionalism. And now, some think regional states may be right after all. We've had single-house legislatures before. The National Assembly in the early decades of the 20th century, then bicameral with President Manuel Quezon as the first Senate President, then single house again when we had the Batasang Pambansa under the 1973 Constitution, back to the bicameral in the 1987 Constitution, and now we debate again which is the best. We had a 4-year term of office before with one re-election for president. Then we said it made the president political in his first term. So we decided to have a single 6-year term. And now there are those who think it might have been right to have a 4-year term with one re-election after all. We therefore recall the saying that goes, quote, "Of forms of government, let fools contest. That which is best administered is best." End of quote. The road towards progress serves as our way forward, but that same road doubles as a limitation of our moves too. We must abide by the rules of driving, such as staying on the right and inside of your lane, passing on the left, and driving at appropriate speed. The careless and reckless driver is bound to land us in a roadside canal or a muddy rice field. In lawmaking, that road where we travel as a nation is limited by our 1987 Constitution, our laws, Supreme Court decisions, and our sense of reasonableness, equity, fairness, and justice. Tradition is also a useful guidepost to temper our desire for novel adventures and experimentation. To do otherwise is to court disaster. Kasabihan sa Pilipino, ang lumalakad ng matulin, kung matinik ay malalim. We in the Senate comprise one of the two essential component houses of the Legislative Department, as set forth in Article 6, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, which states, quote, "The legislative power shall be vested in the Congress of the Philippines, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives." End of quote. The use of the word shall, as any student of law learns early in his studies, means that it is compulsory. Our Constitution further states that the Senate shall be composed of 24 senators, while the House of Representatives shall be composed of not more than 250 members. The Senate is essential in any and all matters pertaining to legislation. And whenever Congress is mandated to exercise some functions, it is obvious that 250 beats 24 anytime. But to claim that the procedure in the Legislative Department is a purely numbers game is to miss the point big time. There would be no need for any Senate counterpart bills, no need for bicameral conference committees, no need for joint resolutions, and no joint assemblies if that lame argument is carried to its absurd conclusion. Sa pagpapalit ng pangalan ng eskwela o paaralan sa isang liblib na sulok ng Pilipinas, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagtatakda ng umpisa at katapusan ng Christmas break ng Kongreso, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagpapalit ng pangalan ng mga kalsada, kailangan ng Senado. Sa pagtatalaga ng isang espesyal na araw sa isang maliit na bayan ng bansa, kailangan ang Senado. Sa maliliit na bagay, kailangan kami. Pero sa pag-iiba ng konstitusyon ng Pilipinas, hindi kailangan ng Senado. If our consent is needed in small things, more so in bigger things. Now, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is not my intention to preside over an unnecessary body of the Legislative Department of the Philippine Republic. It would be a dishonor to the memory of this august body, whose name brings us back to the glory days of Rome, all the way up to the great Manuel Luis Quezon, whose tenure as Commonwealth President intersected at some point with my grandfather, Vicente Y. Sotto. To say or even insinuate that we are unnecessary and irrelevant is unacceptable. I do not wish to preside during my watch over the necrological services of the Philippine Senate, especially so today, when we are confronted with a number of momentous choices affecting our nation. Questions: do we shift from presidential to parliamentary form of government? Do we retain a unitary republic or try the federal system? Do we transform our regions to states themselves? And some even ask, pray tell, bakit? The Senate is the forum, the ring, within which these ideas will struggle for supremacy. It is the stage where these ideas are proposed and debated. And finally, it is the rostrum from which far-reaching decisions are promulgated. So in this third regular session, we look forward in passing more relevant measures that will be beneficial to the Filipino people. The Senate has a distinct role, DNA, to preserve in the life of our nation, an integrity to defend, and an honor to die for. The memories of the giants who sat in this hall, in this August hall, will forever hound us if we drop the ball at this crucial hour. This afternoon, we shall hear the President address the nation through us. We shall listen with our hearts and minds, and afterwards, we shall do what is best for our country in our mandated role as the Senate of the people of the Philippines. So may the God of our fathers, the Allah of our brother Muslims, in our own Bathala and May Kapal, guide us always. Thank you. Shukran. Salamat po ng marami.